I think the academic environment very much varies from country to country, and certainly in the US from state to state, right? I would say the biggest threat to these things right now in the US, for example, comes from conservative governments in some red states. And then whereas in Canada, the biggest threat comes from within the own academy with lots of scholars who have views that are inimical to academic freedom and who actually kind of want to suppress open inquiry, their own sort of goals with what they think the best role of the university is. I'm Brad Epperly. I'm an associate professor of political science at the University of British Columbia, Okanagan. I've been there for 3.5 years now, and previously I was at the University of South Carolina. I can describe that world to look like, say, the world of scholarship in the Soviet Union. I have an MA from the European University of St. Petersburg, which was founded right after the collapse of communism by scholars and donors started in specific fields, including my own in poli-sci, but also in economics, in history, and in art history even, fields that were sort of captured by the ideology of the regime, and lacking academic freedom meant that your role as a scholar was to help to pursue the political goals or the ideological goals of the state, to some degree in many fields ruined by the lack of academic freedom. I learned about Heterodox Academy when it started, and I have people that I worked with as a grad student who have been members of HXA, have supported FIRE, have been involved with the Academic Freedom Alliance. And I didn't join these things. As an assistant professor, I did what assistant professors do, which is keep my head down to some degree and focus on my research and my teaching. And I was in many ways shielded from what I see as some of the big internal threats to academic freedom that happen within the academy at South Carolina. But then I moved to Canada, where the threats to academic freedom from within are much stronger than they are in the States. And the threats from without are much lower, but the threats from within are much higher. And my discipline in the United States is, although political science is, you might think a highly politicized discipline, it's a very apolitical discipline in the US. It's very technocratic, quantitative, and focused on estimating causal effects and things like that. And it's much more pluralistic in Canada, and as there's a lot more people who have a view of it as a mission of achieving some sort of social or political end. And that concerns me. I had moved during the pandemic, and sort of when I came up out of the water of teaching online or asynchronously and never seeing my colleagues, I looked around at a university landscape where I thought many, not colleagues in my own department, but colleagues across the university and lots of administrators and lots of outside actors who really wanted the university to be pursuing their mission, as opposed to what I see as the mission of the university, which is, the contested, combative search for knowledge. My name is Brad Epperly. I am HXA.